Our story begins 2 years ago in the quaint town of Maybrook. Teacher Justine walks into her classroom on a quiet morning, only to find it eerily empty. All her students are gone, except for one boy, Alex Lilly. The night before, at precisely 2:17 a.m., 17 of her students literally walked out of their houses, running into the darkness with their arms stretched out, like they were in a trance. Security cameras captured everything. The synchronized, unsettling escape, but there was no kidnapper, no sign of forced entry. It's a complete mystery. Both Justine and Alex, the sole witness, insist they know absolutely nothing. The school closes for a month while the investigation goes nowhere. When it's time to reopen, Principal Marcus calls a town meeting. The community is desperate for answers, and they need a scapegoat. They immediately turn on Justine, claiming she must have done something to make their kids run away. Justine pleads that she loved her students, but the parents just scream insults. Marcus tries to defend her, and they accuse him of being an accomplice. The rage is so intense, a detective has to escort a terrified Justine out of the building to keep her safe. Drowning her sorrows with liquor, a new and worrying habit, Justine gets a terrifying anonymous call. A disembodied voice threatens her, and she immediately hangs up. On her way home, a local junkie named James asks her for spare change, but she ignores him. Later, a knock on her door makes her jump. She checks the peephole, no one. Another knock. She finally goes outside and discovers the word witch painted in thick graffiti on her car. This is a deliberate, cruel attack, and we later learn it was done by Archer, the father of one of the missing boys. The next morning, Justine can't wash the slur off. When she gets to school, Principal Marcus immediately puts her on a leave of absence, citing her declining mental state. He also forbids her from speaking to Alex, the only student left from her class, claiming she has a pattern of overstepping professional lines, pointing out minor, caring acts like hugging a crying kid or driving a student home. Frustrated, Justine has a complete breakdown. She later files a report about the vandalism and the threats. At the police station, she has an awkward encounter with her ex-boyfriend, Officer Paul. That night, they meet for drinks. Paul expresses concern and Justine assures him she's okay. He drops a major bombshell. He and his wife Donna are now separated. This leads to a reckless, emotional hookup at Justine's place. The next day, Justine tells Paul the police aren't working hard enough. Desperate, she takes matters into her own hands. She drives to the school, waits for Alex to get off the bus, and follows him home. When she gets to the Lilly house, the windows are covered with newspapers, nobody answers the door. Deeply worried, Justine sneaks into the backyard. She finds a small gap in the paper and peers inside. What she sees makes her gasp. Alex's parents are sitting motionless on the couch, completely still. Justine calls Principal Marcus, who immediately scolds her for stalking the child and forbids her from going near Alex again. A few days later, the consequences of her night with Paul arrive. At the grocery store, Paul's wife Donna suddenly attacks Justine. She knows what happened and calls Justine a liar as she empties a bottle of alcohol over her head. The clerk has to physically drag a furious Donna away. That night, Justine's trauma manifests in a terrible dream. She's back in her classroom and all the missing kids are face down on their desks. Alex looks up, his face covered in terrifying clown makeup, giving her a creepy smile. She wakes up to a strange noise. Looking around, she sees nothing. She lies down again, then screams. There's a creepy red-headed woman on the ceiling. In a second, the woman vanishes. The next day, Justine tries to talk to Alex, asking if he's okay. He snaps at her, yelling, and runs home. Justine, obsessed, stays in her car outside his house, eventually falling asleep. In a truly unsettling moment, someone leaves the Lilly house, walks to her car, and cuts a lock of her hair while she sleeps. This is our first clue of a sinister power at play. Meanwhile, Archer, the father who vandalized Justine's car, is suffering from deep depression. He spends his days rewatching the security footage of his son running away, constantly asking Captain Loach for updates at the police station. Loach insists Justine isn't involved, but Archer is convinced she knows something. His grief is so bad that he sleeps in his son's empty bedroom. One night, he has a terrifying dream where he sees his own sleeping body. He follows a noise outside and sees his son running away. He chases him, but after a short pursuit, he finds himself back at home. As his son goes inside, a giant weapon-like symbol appears above the house, marked with the time of the disappearance, 217. This dream gives Archer an idea. He takes a map and starts drawing lines from the homes of the missing children, tracing the direction they ran. He believes the spot where the lines intersect is the answer. As he heads toward that spot, the intersection point of his creepy map, he stops at a gas station to yell at Justine. This is where things turn terrifying. Right then, Principal Marcus runs out to the gas station, blood on his face and his arms stretched out just like the missing kids. Marcus tackles Justine and begins to choke her. Archer pulls him off, but Marcus hits him, giving Justine a chance to run into the store. Archer tries to save her, kicking Marcus, but the principal tackles him and starts to choke him too. This suggests Marcus is not himself. He is under some kind of spell. We jump back a few days to Officer Paul. He sees the junkie James breaking into a house, chasing him on foot until he tackles and handcuffs him. James explains he was breaking into his own place because he lost his keys. But as Paul searches him, he accidentally pricks his finger on a used needle. Enraged, Paul punches James repeatedly. Paul rushes back to his car for the first aid kit and realizes his dashcam recorded the whole brutal incident. Desperate to save his career, Paul frees James, tells him they're even, and orders him to leave town. Later, James, who we learn is a genuine junkie, sees the Maybrook missing kids poster offering a huge reward. He remembers breaking into the Lily house and seeing the chilling, motionless parents, and more importantly, all the missing kids standing in the basement in a trance. He calls the police. Paul sees James outside the station and yells at him. Panicked, James runs into the woods. Paul disconnects his dashcam and follows him in his patrol car. In the woods, James is shocked to see the creepy red-headed woman waving at him. He runs to his tent. A shadow soon appears, and James, terrified, attacks with a needle. It turns out Paul. He drags him out, but James saves himself by screaming that he knows where the kids are. Paul forces James to lead him to the Lily house. James watches in horror from the car as Paul rings the bell, is let inside, and disappears for hours. When Paul finally emerges, he is in a trance, moving stiffly. He drags a screaming James out of the car, growling like an animal, and pulls him into the house. Paul has been possessed.
We jump back again to Principal Marcus. After Justine's call about the Lily parents, a woman shows up at his office, the red-headed woman. This is Glattis, Alex's aunt. She claims the parents are sick and tells Marcus not to visit. Marcus insists he must check on Alex's welfare. The next day, Glattis appears at Marcus's house. She asks for water in a bowl. She uses a ribbon stolen from his office, wraps it around a strange branch, and covers it with her own blood. When Marcus's husband, Terry, gets close, Glattis cuts a lock of his hair. When Marcus tries to call the police, Glattis rings a bell and he drops the phone, falling into a trance. Glattis wraps Terry's hair around the stick and breaks it. Immediately, Marcus lunges at Terry, choking him and spewing black liquid, then brutally headbutting him to death. Marcus only stops when Glattis throws the stick into the bowl. She washes the branch, removes Terry's hair, and wraps Justine's stolen hair around it before breaking it again. This sends Marcus on his mission to kill Justine, which leads us back to the chaotic gas station fight. At the gas station, Marcus chases Justine into the store. Archer tackles Marcus, giving Justine a chance to escape to her car. Marcus follows, breaking her window before she speeds away. Archer quickly gets into his car and joins the chase. Archer watches in horror as Marcus is struck by a vehicle, his head gruesomely splattering all over the road. Marcus is dead. At the hospital, Archer tells the police everything. Outside of the building, he sees Justine and she thanks him for saving her life. He apologizes for blaming her and shows her the map with the intersecting lines. Justine immediately recognizes the spot, Alex's house. We jump back one last time to Alex before the disappearances. He's a lonely, bullied kid with loving parents. His aunt Glattis arrives one night claiming she is sick. Alex immediately suspects something. He sees her red wig and a small tree with weird branches. Soon after, his once loving parents become cold and robotic, sitting in a trance. Glattis is actually healthy and now rules the house. She forces Alex to keep her presence a secret or she'll hurt his parents. To prove her point, she breaks a branch over a water bowl, forcing his parents to grab forks and repeatedly stab themselves in the face. They only stop when Glattis puts the branch back in the water. Glattis, using the power of the strange tree, is a witch. To heal herself, she needs a possession from each of Alex's classmates. Alex, terrified, sneaks into the classroom while others are playing outside and takes the name tags from 17 of his peers. He drops them at Glattis's door. In the middle of the night, Alex wakes up to Glattis performing the ritual. She breaks the name tags into a bowl, spits in it, lights it on fire, and rings a bell. At that moment, the 17 children, now possessed, run out of their homes and came into the Lily house. When the investigation starts, Glattis gives Alex's dad makeup to cover the self-inflicted wounds, claiming he had a stroke. She cuts the kids' hair for a spell to make them hide in the forest, and then orders Alex to feed them, including his parents. Fast forward to the day of the final confrontation. Justine and Archer are outside Alex's house, seeing a possessed Paul emerge and go back inside. They decide to follow him. Justine accidentally steps on a salt line Glattis has drawn, putting her under the house's power. James, now possessed zombie, tackles Archer. Paul, also possessed, chases Justine into the kitchen. Justine tries to fight him first with a pan, then with a potato peeler, but he's immune to pain and choking her. Upstairs, Alex sees his former teacher in danger. He makes the ultimate decision. He ignores the screaming and bravely crosses the salt line Glattis used to guard her room. This breaks the spell on the possessed parents, and they rush after him. Downstairs, Justine has managed to grab Paul's gun. She shoots him in the neck, but he's still coming for her, black liquid oozing from the wound. She has no choice but to shoot the possessed Paul in the head. She then shoots James, who was attacking Archer, too. Archer went to the basement, started searching for his son, but in the chaos he found Glattis. She possessed him, and now Archer begins to choke Justine. Meanwhile, in the chase, Alex runs into Glattis's room. He grabs a branch from the mystical tree, smears it with his own blood, and finds a lock of Glattis's hair from the wig. He wraps the hair around the branch and breaks it. This act breaks the spell on the possessed children. They rush out of the basement and go after Glattis, who quickly flees from the house. The kids chase the witch through the neighborhood, breaking windows and doors, climbing fences, and shattering anything glass in their path. Finally, one girl tackles Glattis to the ground, and the 17 children pile on top of her, ripping her body apart in a brutal act of vengeance. Glattis's death breaks the final spell. Archer snaps out of his trance. Alex's parents unfreeze. In the final moments, Justine finds Alex upstairs hugging his now normal parents. Archer follows the trail of destruction and is reunited with his son. In the aftermath, Alex's parents, deeply traumatized, are institutionalized, and Alex goes to live with a kinder aunt. The other children are reunited with their families, but the spell has left them silent, taking time for them to speak again. The small town of Maybrook is forever marked by the terror of the missing 17. And that is the terrifying tale of Maybrook. What did you think of the witch's gruesome end? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see more movie explanations like this, hit the subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and stay spooky.